Hello guys, so I'm going to go over operational rules, okay? This is series number 1 on operations, and I'm going to clarify each step. Each of you should have a copy of this and you can be reading along while I read it too, but there's been some questions, some confusion with these rules, so I'm going to clarify each and every one. Okay, the first thing it says, note, if you are buying the sheets up front, none of these apply. This is only for people that are requesting consignment. If that is the case, you should fill out the application for consignment, business agreement, and the personal productivity test. So the first thing I want to go over, that it's actually the last step on this, but I want to just go ahead and let you know that the sheets that you have, they're on consignment, okay? They do not belong to you, they belong to the company. You can have a certain amount of sheets, and as you sell them, you pay the company. But at any point, we can ask you to return. If we ask you to return the sheets, you have to cooperate and return all the sheets, okay? Don't feel that because we give you 200 sheets, they belong to you now, and then you can just pay whenever for them. No, that's not the case. You have them on consignment and they are property of the company. So if we do ask you to please return the sheets, then go ahead and return the sheets. It doesn't happen very often, okay? Maybe once every few years or you know, it doesn't happen very often, but it can happen, okay? This policy is being used to clarify how we operate to all our independent distributors and organization personnel. We consider that you, as our independent distributor, are key for our operations, and that our service and care for you requires that the operational rules are very clear so that you can work on what you do best, servicing our customers. These are the main operational rules that need to be followed by our independent distributors and organization personnel. Please make sure that you fully understand the rules and feel free to ask any questions related to them. So there's 5 rules. Rule number 1. As our independent distributor, you should send your sales report every Sunday night, even if there are 0 sales for that week. The week ends up on Sunday, and the report should be sent that same day. In the report, you should send the total number of sheets that you have in stock at the end of the week. Basically, that's what the report has. How many sheets you have, how many sheets you sold, and how many sheets you have after whatever you sold. The reason why we need you to send in your report, if you send 0, you still have to fill up your sales report, is because if you sold 0 and you just don't send any sales report, there's no evidence that you sold 0, okay? Or sometimes we stay waiting and wondering how many you sold and you're just not answering. So if you sold 0, send in your report as 0 sales. Okay, now this is very, very important, okay? And you should do it every week. In order to report the total number of sheets, count your sheets to make sure that the sales you reported are correct. Do not work on the base of the sheets you noted as sold, as some mistakes may happen. Please use the physical count to do the report. This will allow us to maintain good control. If you started the week with 100 sheets and you sold 50, you mark 50 sheets sold, but then you count, and instead of having 50 sheets left, you have 45 sheets left. That means that you sold 5 more that you did not mark down. So for the best time to do it is Sunday night after you finish selling, before you start packing up. Count all your sheets and then you'll know exactly how many you sold. Sometimes it's impossible to keep perfect track of how many you sold, just because you get a lot of customers at one time. Okay, rule number 2. As our independent distributor, you will make your weekly deposit to pay for the sheets sold on a certain week by the Monday following the end of that week. So the week ends up on Sunday, and the deposit or the payment should be done the following Monday, immediately after the end of the week, so the next day. The sheets sold during the week have to be paid per this policy in its full amount. What this means, if you sell 100 sheets on Sunday or throughout the weekend, and then Monday you say, here I'm paying for 80, the other 20 sheets that I sold, I will get paid in 2 weeks. So that means that this doesn't allow it, okay? You have to pay for the sheets that you deliver, whether you got paid for them already or not. If you say, oh, I am missing 30 sheets because my friend Joe has them, he's helping me sell, then you will have to pay for those sheets. Or you can go and get those sheets from him and bring them to the count on Monday. Okay, so if you have an area manager, you will pay him the money on Monday. You will be making a bank deposit only if you don't have an area manager. Okay, so that's pretty clear. Rule number 3, a person from our company will count your sheets every Monday before you restock again. The sheets that are delivered to you for restocking will be counted in your presence. Make sure whenever you get more sheets, you're there to count with your area manager or the warehouse manager. If there is a discrepancy between the sheets you have written and the physical count, you will have to make a new sales report with the correct numbers and will have to pay for every sheet missing. Okay? If you don't have money to pay for all the sheets missing, you will be asked to return all the merchandise. What this means is that, let's say you started the week with 150 sheets and you sold 50, and you send in your sales report Sunday night. You say 150, sold 50, my new balance is 100. The next day on Monday, your area manager counts your sheets, and instead of having 100 sheets, which is what you should have, you only have 90 sheets. Okay, so he tells you, hey, you're missing 10 sheets. That means you sold an extra 10 sheets. Whether you sold them, whether somebody stole them from you, whether you lost them, whether they fell off your truck, whatever, it doesn't matter, okay? You started with 150 sheets, and you counted 90 sheets, that means you sold 60. But then you say, oh, I only have money to pay for 50. I wasn't expecting missing an extra 10 sheets. Then, the warehouse manager or the area manager will ask you to return all the sheets. I'm sorry, you'll have to return all the sheets. Okay? Whenever you pay for those 10 missing sheets or 1 missing sheet or whatever it is, then you'll get all the merchandise again. Okay? It says, if you do not have an area manager in your area, we will send a person from your area to go and count your sheets minimum once a month. At least once a month we'll send somebody to your house or wherever you have the sheets to count your sheets. That's if you don't have an area manager that counts every week. If you are missing any sheets, you can either pay for them or return all the merchandise. Okay? So whatever sheet you sell, you have to pay for it. The total number of sheets that you can take for a certain week will be determined by your area manager based on the expected sales and sales performance. If you're selling 40 sheets or 30 sheets a week, you'll have between 100 to 150 sheets. You will not be able to get more. If you're selling 150 sheets every week, then your balance will be around 250 sheets. Okay, number 4, you will have to pay for any sheets that are damaged or taken out of the bag and put back in, as long as they don't look like the original package. These sheets will be counted as sold. You can then sell these sheets at a discounted price, give them to someone else, or use them yourself. Okay? Whenever your area manager counts your sheets and says, hey, this bag is all ripped, or you got this sheet dirty, you know, the zipper was open and dust got in there. Or sometimes a customer may ask you, oh, can I take it out of the bag? And they just take it out. And then when you put it back in, it's all you know, very, it doesn't look too good. Then you'll have to pay for that one as sold. Of course, if you sell a sheet and the customer says, oh, the sheet was ripped and it's from manufacturer damage, then you just bring it back to your area manager and he'll swap it for a good one. Okay? The only way you pay for it is if you haven't been taking care of your sheets and they get damaged because you leave them out in the rain, you leave them in the hot sun too long. Sometimes if you leave them for days and days and days when it's 100, 110 degrees, they might get a little burn. Okay? Okay, so step number 5. If you sell fewer or less than 120 sheets per month, you have to give all the merchandise back. And if you want to sell again, you will have to pay for them up front. Of course, at any point, anytime you have the option of just saying, I want to buy them up front, okay? And you actually get them cheaper. But if you're on credit, we expect you to sell at least 120 sheets per month. I have some people that do 100 sheets every weekend. I have some people that do 180 sheets every weekend, okay? Whenever I'm selling, I do about 150 sheets. You know, I average about 75 sheets a day, okay? So that's 600 sheets a month. So if I'm asking you to do 120 sheets per month, at least, it's not too much, okay? Some people that I get sell 80 in a month, 100 in a month, 50 in a month, and I say, listen, I'm sorry, I cannot have you in the business. And they get a little upset because they want to keep doing the business. But if you're selling under 120 sheets in a month, that means that you're really not working, okay? If you work 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., let's say on a Saturday, you should be selling about 50 sheets, all right? I just want to make this one clear because if you do not sell 120 sheets in a month, you'll have to return all the merchandise. If it's raining for 3 weeks in a row, I would understand. And you say, hey, listen, I only went out 1 weekend and I sold 40. It's fine, you'll stay in the business, okay? But otherwise, you have to sell 120 sheets. If you're gonna go on a vacation or you get sick or for whatever reason you're not gonna be selling for a week or 2 or 3, then what you have to do, you have to return all the merchandise to your area manager, take your vacation or take your time off, and then when you're ready to start producing again, we'll give you the sheets back, okay? And from that point, you have to start averaging about 30 a week or 120 per month. Okay, so this will help you increase our efficiency as a group and your personal sales. Last step, this is not even a rule, but it is very important, okay? Very, very important. It's in capital letters. At any point, we can ask you to return the sheets for many reasons. If we do this, you must return the sheets within 48 hours from the time we request them. You will have to bring them to your area manager, or if you do not have an area manager close to your area, we will ask you to ship the merchandise back to us, okay? There are many reasons why we would ask you to return the sheets, okay? The first thing that you have to know is that you have the sheets on consignment. The sheets do not belong to you. The sheets belong to the company. We're just lending them to you so you can sell them. And then whenever you sell them, you pay us, okay? This is not credit. It's not like they're your sheets, pay us whenever you can. No. So sometimes we're gonna do a huge event, okay? A big fair that costs us $3,000 for the event. And we will ask some of the salespeople to return the sheets so we can do the event. And in a couple of weeks, we'll give the sheets back to you, okay? Or sometimes we just ask everybody to return the sheets because we want to make an even distribution of the colors. If you have too many black and another person has too many whites, and another person has too many burgundy, we'll ask everybody to return the sheets, rearrange the sheets, and then we give them back to you. Okay? So there could be too many reasons why we would ask you to return the sheets. If we ask you to return the sheets, I know it's it's not too good. Maybe you were planning on selling that weekend and we say, I'm sorry, we need the merchandise back. We ask you to please help and cooperate with this, okay? You have 48 hours to return the sheets, and then we can either return the sheets back to you in a day or in a week, or sometimes it takes a few months, okay? It depends. The company is growing a lot and we have to be moving inventory. In the past 5 years, it only happened one time, okay? One time that we asked people to return their sheets. So it's very unlikely that it will happen, but it is very important that if we do ask you to return the sheets, you please, return them as soon as possible, all right? If you do not want to put yourself in this situation or have this risk, you always have the option of buying them cash up front, okay? But this is the liability for being on consignment. Okay, so that's pretty much it. And if you have any questions, you can ask me or ask Adriana